Okay, so I love Mammoth IPA from Wicklow Wolf, but it now seems they've added Strata hops in it. I want to know what it's like with the new addition to the hop profile. They've kept the other four hops and they've added Strata on top. We're going to check it out and see if it's danker. Is it like cannabis? What's it like? Strata in Mammoth IPA from Wicklow Wolf up next. Hey, welcome back to Views on Brews. I am Brendan, and this is a beer that I've always had as a fridge filler. Wicklow Wolf, they produce a really good range of core beers in their €3.30 sort of range. They're great fridge fillers, but they're also really high quality beers. And since I've been starting back off after January on the West Coast IPAs, I thought, why not carry on? So I checked this one out online, and it seems now to have Strata hops in it, which are absolutely fantastic. Does that make a difference, having Strata hops in it? There's already Chinook, Eureka, Simcoe, and Cascade hops in this beer. So if you add Strata on top, will I notice it? As opposed to just a single hop Strata beer where you always get that, you get that straight away, there's some sort of berry, some sort of passion fruit, some sort of dank, resinous pine, odoriferous, cannabis, all that sort of green, high sort of notes. I'm just really excited to get this beer open. We're going to get it open now and see what's inside and just see how it is tasting. So, yeah. West Coast style IPA, so it should be packed with hops. It should be resinous, it should be piney, it should have a decent level of malt going on in here if it's done right. West Coast has a lot of malt in the balance. Look at that, it's sort of pouring thick. I like that. Got it in the old glimmer as well. Let's have that there, and let's have a look at this beer now and see what it looks like on the appearance. So there's a decent bit of haze on this beer, nice thick creamy looking head on the top of it. It's nicely golden, it's slightly on the lighter end of the malt spectrum. I think I read somewhere that this has Munich malt in it. That's not confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'm looking at the bubbles coming up in this beer, and they're going up fairly slowly. So I know that there's going to be a high sort of hoppy oil content in this beer, and there's going to be a decent amount of body to it as well. It looks fantastic. Okay, let's check out the aromas of this beer. Definitely the first thing I'm getting, which is a good sign, is passion fruit. So passion fruit you get from Simcoe, which is in this beer. Bit tropical. A little bit berry, a little bit citrus, and perhaps some very, very fresh pine in here as well. Now, what age is this beer actually? I feel like it's fresh. Yeah, it's out of date on the very end of September 21. So this has got, it's pretty much got 9.5, 10 months on it. A little bit caramel, do get a bit of the malt going on in there. It smells so nice. Yeah, and getting passion fruit and getting bits of pine and getting this really nice kind of tropical, rounded grapefruit sort of aroma going on. Decent amounts of citrus. I'll give it another spin when I get down. I don't usually pour the full glass so I can get a... Oh, okay, that was different. Okay, that smelled more odoriferous straight away there. Now, perhaps it's my mistake for pouring it out into this glass where I can't give it a really good spin and hold in the aromas and then just let them straight out and go up the nose. But I did just get some really funky sort of dank, oily, but also bright and sort of, yeah, I feel like I'm going to get a bit of cannabis going on this. Anyway, we'll see as we get further into it. Anyway, let's give this beer a taste and see what it's like. Cheers, Slancher, and let's give it a go. That's just so damn good. Sometimes when you have a beer, you just know that it's well crafted. You can see that the brewer has done the job of making a beer that is balanced. That's the first thing that I get from this beer when I taste it, before I actually sort of pick it apart. It just feels right. There's a little bit of sticky going on in there. It's a little bit oily. We'll come to that a little bit more in a minute, but the flavors here now. Definitely getting some grapefruit mixed in with tropical, mixed in with a bit of berry, and a bit of like oily, resinous pine is the way I would say it. And I say oily because the pine, the resin sort of coats the tongue and just does not go anywhere. And I feel like that's going to build as well. Oh, it's just so drinkable, this beer. It's 6.2% as well, I should point out, which it does say some stuff on the back here. Mammoth IPA is a big bad wolf of West Coast IPAs, a shed load of hops, burst of floral, resinous, pine, grapefruit, actually, mountains of citrus fruit. This punchy IPA is supported by a strong malty backbone. When it says punchy, I totally agree with that. There's a real burst as soon as you try this beer. Now, while I'm not specifically picking out Strata, I do note that there are 4 other hops in here. You've got Simcoe, that's a big boy. You've got Cascade, you've got Eureka, and you've got Chinook. All of those 4 hops give some of the similar flavor and aroma attributes that Strata does anyway. There is a bit of passion fruit, there is a bit of pine, and of course there is a bit of tropical and grapefruit going on. Now I'm just going to spin it up one more time here. Yeah, just drawing a little bit of breath as I'm sipping the beer over the palate, just drawing it through at the same time. Sometimes releases a little bit extra. And I do get a pleasant dankness to this beer. It is a punchy beer. There is a good bit of nice, enjoyable tropical flavors. Perhaps a little bit of bubble gum on the nose as well. But then you get something else, and that's the Strata. It has to be, and it's this kind of like pungent aroma, not quite like Summit pungent where it's really odoriferous, but just a pleasant dankness going on, and I really like that in this beer. Oh, Wicklow Wolf are smashing these beers out of the park. That's a really nice complement to the other hops. It gives a depth of layers to the hops. It is bang on style for a West Coast IPA as well. There's a decent amount of malt in there, but it really is all about the hops. There is kind of like a restrained sweetness, and there's a nice sort of malty backbone, but you don't sort of discern too much specific malt aroma flavors. There's just a nice bit of sweetness going on in there. Perhaps a touch of caramel going on there too, perhaps a little bit biscuity. So the mouthfeel of this beer is just really pleasant. It coats, the oiliness of the hops coats the palate, but it's not so dank and heavy that it becomes cumbersome. It's quite bright and punchy like it says on the tin. And I like that. It does come across a little bit slick, a little bit oaty. I don't know if there's oats in this beer, but but it's not too heavy, and I like that. So you definitely could sink a few of these beers. And I think they've done a really good job there of making the right amount of hop additions, that it's not so bitter. There is bitterness in it, but it's not over the top bitterness at all. It doesn't linger on. What it does is it allows the dankness to shine through and the punchy hops to shine through as well. So yeah, overall I think I absolutely love this beer. And I think that the new addition of Strata hops in it. Now, I hope I got that right. It just says Strata everywhere I look. There is a level of dankness, and maybe it's not from Strata. Maybe they're not in it at all. But it definitely does feel like the Strata hops in here. And it does say it a lot on the websites, or at least on the Wicklow Wolf website. A lot of the Untapped and the older websites that might have put this beer up a while back, they don't list it. But if you take a look on the Wicklow Wolf webpage, they've put Strata right at the very front of their description with the other 4 hops. It definitely tastes dank. There's Strata in here. Bit of passion fruit, bit of berry. I get different things every time I come to it. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice, bright, fresh. It feels like a fresh beer as well. And I really like this new edition. So I think it really does benefit the beer in a positive way. Yeah, so coming up, we're going to be doing more West Coast IPAs. I'm going to be knocking out as many flagship beers as I can. And we are going to get through a whole heap of beers I've got to get through. My stash is growing. I need to stop buying beer. I need to start consuming it. But this one was absolutely fantastic. Wicklow Wolf. That's my view on this brew. If you haven't subscribed and you're new around here, maybe click the like and sub to the channel and hit the notifications bell if you're interested in more content. And I think that's going to wrap it up. So cheers, sláinte, and it's on to the next one. Bye.